look, anytime you get a scholarship, it's always stipulated. There are certain things, unless you're getting a free ride, 4 years of a free ride, okay, the bottom line is you still either have to do work study, okay, you work off part of the loan,
Well,
that's how they work it out, or you're paying for books, but you're
And chasing
rooming,
grants like hell.
yeah,
right, and you're
Chasing
rooming,
grants like hell, hoping you get them.
yeah.
that's
How
true.
how does anybody expect the schools to give education for free? Who's going to pay for it?
Well, I don't see any college
Well,
professors or
look,
presidents of universities saying, yeah, you can cut 50% off my salary. You know,
And
yeah.
that money is
Look,
all
look.
the.
Well, even beyond cutting salary, though, just the climate of the country is not that's not available. We'd have to go a few generations before people would say, yeah, that's something I agree with. Debt-free college. We should be paying for it through some form of government subsidy, similar to Europe, to where I mean, we could do it today if we wanted. We could peel the money from the Department of Defense and do it if we wanted to, but
Oh,
the country is really not interested.
Nice.
That would
Oh,
not
we
be a
could
Think of
charge
popular
more
idea.
taxes like Europe does.
well, I was going to say, think of it this way. We have free, in quotes, public education, but your tax money is paying for that free public
Of
education.
course.
Okay? So there's got to be some way, and I don't care what you say, that upper 1% is not going to be able to make up the difference for every student who's going to a 4-year
Of
or a
course.
2-year
She's
institution.
if she's actually gonna try to do what she
Well,
does,
well,
she's
well,
gonna.
you got to remember this too, though. One of every 3 tax dollars goes to the Department of Defense. That's where the money is. So if you actually wanted to do it, you would take the money from there. So I'm saying the money is there. If we were willing to do it, I'm just saying the climate of this country, that would not be a popular idea. So it wouldn't go far anyway.
And
But
could
it could be done. It's
and
not
could
a
you
thing of finding the money. It's a thing of people don't think that's proper.
and could you imagine that our country, okay, pays as we have as much in taxes going to our military as the next 20 nations under us? That's how much we spend.
Listen, we spend a lot of military, but in reality, the world expects that of us. And if we start, just condensing our military, making it smaller. I mean, already China is opening up airports by Africa. I don't know if you guys know that. They
I don't know.
They've been investing billions. They've been investing billions in the continent of Africa and South America.
No, but in
I mean,
Africa,
as they should. Hell, they're
No,
financial
what I'm
power.
saying,
Why
no.
wouldn't they invest the money out?
no, there's some old military air bases that they had and gave up. They're in some Portuguese islands, and now the Chinese are buying them out. Those all the airfields and the whole property, and they're setting up their own airfields and everything for commercial use. They're going to have all the freighters coming into there like hell for commercial use, just like they're building those fake islands for commercial use. And
Yep.
then you
But
got.
look, I think we should give up our job as policemen of the world and dictator of the world. I would rather we go to a more isolationist, protectionist ideal when it comes to imports and worry about fixing up this country, investing in this country.
Well, isn't it?
And that whole I just don't like the burden that we've decided to take on. Like, this wasn't the rest of the world asking us to be saved. This was after World War II, the rubble of the rest of the world, us stepping up and saying we're the new boss in town and kicking everybody around. I don't think we need to do it personally, but that's me.
See, that's why, if the libertarians just would have made Governor Weld the presidential nominee and Gary Johnson the vice presidential nominee, I think they would be polling a lot better, okay? Because it seems like Governor Weld has a much more knowledgeable head on his shoulders than Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson gets flustered when you ask him questions.
But the whole thing is, neither of them were real libertarians.
Well, no, but they actually they're not like Rand Paul. All right, the reason Rand Paul didn't run, like you and I were discussing before, is that he didn't want to give up his seat in Kentucky, his Senate seat, especially with the Democrats talking about the possibility that they might, and I put that in quotation marks, they might actually take back the Senate. I don't think so. Okay, but somebody like, if he didn't run and if Marco Rubio didn't get out of the race and declare that he's running for re-election on his seat, they might have lost two very easy seats.
Now, what you were talking before about isolationists, more of isolation. My feeling was always is we should limit ourselves to all the trading and do everything just the Americas, nowhere else.
You can't, in the world the way it is today, you can't be an isolationist anymore.
If you have both North and South America working together, you're producing everything that anybody else is producing. You've got as much technology as anywhere else. And if you're going to be an isolationist, that's the area. I mean, that's how you.
Right, and being an isolationist, it doesn't mean you don't trade with the rest of the world. The corporations in this country have every right to go other places and seek new markets. They just won't have the Marines backing them up and guaranteeing that they'll see their money if a regime falls or something like that. The idea that they should act as the police force for corporate money and corporate wealth to be, kind of created in other places, I think that's a misspending of our money. So I'm with you on isolationism, but don't look at it as that means turning away from the globe. No, if you're a corporation and you want to be a multinational all over the globe, hey, go out there and compete in a free market. Why do you need the Marines to guarantee everything for you?
But I'm saying we should protect the Americas.
All right, gentlemen, I am taking 5 minutes out here. I got to make more coffee, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
After all, we are the coffee club.
All right.
That was a Monday.
I hear what you're saying, though. We got to fix some of those relationships with South America too.
Yeah.
Because we've caused a lot of damage down there. Let's start anew. Create a beneficial, mutually beneficial relationship with those countries down there.
Yeah.
And that'd be a nice thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at a country like Venezuela. Those poor people there are really suffering. It's a strange country. If we started, helping them more, I'm sure they would start not even helping monetarily, but start, trading with them a little bit. I mean, they've got a lot of oil and they don't have food, so get some food down there and buy some of their fuel and try to get some of the
history will not be kind to us on what we're doing in Venezuela right now.
No.
It's kind of a shame. Basically, Chavez was able to, poke his chest out for a long time while America was busy in Iraq and the Middle East. When Chavez died and Maduro took over, now we could kind of concentrate on them. And this whole oil pricing, eco war that's going on, it affected them the most because they have a mono economy. Their economy is so dependent on the price of oil because that's where everything is, their whole structure. And they haven't been able to diversify yet because they're still trying to pull themselves, from the poverty-stricken, last 40 years of dealing with us propping up dictators down there. So it's a real complicated thing. And the wealthy down there are sending their money out of the country and trying to get Maduro, toppled, which probably will happen pretty soon because he really had, what choice, what can he, there's no miracle he can pull off to save the country at this point. Yeah. And he's not a statesman enough to where he could rally, the population just by speaking. Like, there's few of those guys in the world. So he's going to fall soon.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we should, I think Cuba was a good We should develop more relationship with them. Get rid of the old Castros. They're just about gone anyway. They have
that's a sad thing too, man.
they have some of the best medicine in the world in Cuba. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about their medical achievements.
It's a great country who is, despite the odds, always been able to find a way. And now it appears that the Castros are going to be gone. Somebody else is going to be in there, and it looks like they're going to become a U.S. satellite and, just a tourist attraction. And that's going to be a horrible thing because no matter what, when you're one of those tourist attraction states, you become a banana republic. And your dictates are going to come from Washington, not from whoever is supposedly governing you. So it's probably not looking good for Cuba, man, in the future. But
well, listen, they haven't had it good for many years. A lot of people, are starving there. It's not a great situation. But as far as the medicine, they have a vaccine for cancer. I don't know if you heard anything about it.
They've done some incredible work, man, and they're the first to land in any emergency in third world because they have the qualified doctors there.
Yeah,
but there you can go to school and become a doctor for free. When you're a child, you have a doctor who's going to be assigned to you from the time you're a child to the time you're an adult. You know what I mean? Like, they're really conscious about health, but the embargo killed them, man. The embargo is so difficult for so many years to get along on that island, without the most resources and the most trading partners. Dealing with that embargo was too much. And, the people in Florida who left the Castro regime, they've got their grievances. They got family members who've been tortured, who've been murdered because they were the opposition, So they've got legit grievances against the Castro regime as well. So it's real complicated, man. But once they fall into the U.S. satellite, they're in trouble. I mean, our record is not good with little junior partners. Ask Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't think Mark heard me. I don't know if you heard, but Mexico, Cuba's made a lot of medical progress. They have a vaccine for cancer. I forgot. I think it's for lung cancer. I'm not sure.
So then why can't we? I mean.
Well, for how many years weren't we? Then we had no
50
access
years.
with them. Yeah, for years. And actually, they were talking about there's quite a few countries trying to get rights to the vaccine. And
there you go.
They don't want to
big pharma right away. Who's going to produce it? Who's going to make the most money? Who's going to get rich while you die?
No, who's going to kill it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, who's going to buy the formula and then squash it?
And then lock it up in a vault somewhere.
Yeah. But one thing about Cuba, the way they are now, they're not giving it up. It's so who knows? I mean, I don't even know if it works or not.
That's a sad one, man. Yeah, that's a sad situation, man. We'll have to see how it plays out, man.
Yeah.
From what we all just said, from what we know, more than likely, Big Pharma is going to end up with their hands on it, and they'll cultivate it in something that becomes a symptom reliever and not a cure, and then they'll put that out.
Exactly.
That's what they do.
Oh, yeah, somebody's just like all these different engines that are being bought out. That are more efficient on gas and those inventions are being bought out and squashed.
Well, just think in 5 years, you can literally get into your car and say "Home, James," and the car will drive you home. You could be sitting in the lap of luxury in the back seat of your car. At least that's what Detroit and all the other automotive engineers are talking about.
Well, no, they're doing it now in Philadelphia.
They have test vehicles out. I know.
Uber. Eventually, they want to have the whole.
Sorry.
You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's going to be interesting to hear the argument once they perfect it. And once it becomes the norm of anybody who's driving their own car and is a ridiculous person